Welcome guys. In this video, I'm going to explain various Docker files. Using I can launch SSH, web servers, app servers, DB servers, and reverse proxy. Before getting into it, I want to tell one thing about the container volume management. In container volume management, -v parameter is used to build or allow to manage volumes. Create the mount outside the container and unify the system, subsequently exposing it into the underlying host system. It gives us the ability to provide direct access from the host mount to container itself. You can specify the same in Dockerfile as it interrupts the portability of Dockerfile. So Docker run -t-v, v stands for the volume and the directory which I want to mount into the container. So in this video, I've already explained you the demo for Nigix, and the next demo is for the SSH access, and I will install the Apache with PHP and I'll mount the local file system to the container. I will also have a Docker for Tomcat version 9, and exposing the 8080 and 8009 AJP port. Make the live deployment without making any changes on the Docker. Launch a reverse proxy and connecting to the database and the app server. So my in this thing I will not be able to have a query to database, as I have some limitations that I need to connect my application backend to the DB. So I will only make connection from the web to app. So DB to app to DB there won't be any connection, but it will work as the same. So let's go into it. So you can download my Docker file, which is available in my Git repo, and you can pull the Git repo by using this command. Now let's get into the implementation of SSH into a Docker container. I'm going to generate a key first. I'm added my key. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to build the container first. So I've built the container now. So it is what I did is that is in the Docker file. I'm downloading the CentOS, downloading the EPL repository, adding the time zones, installing the OpenSSH software, sudo netutils netscripts, add a root user, permit root login, deny, password authentication equal to no. Then I generate a key, and then what I'm doing is that is adding a user and adding him into the admin user to sudo user, and finally I copy my public key into the container. Now I'm started a service. So let me kick off the container. I'm saying to listen it on port 222. Now you can see the connection which Docker is sending from the traffic 2222 to 22. Let me connect now. Yep, I logged in as an admin now. Now let me switch it to root. I'm a root user now. So this is pretty simple. Whereas in a physical world, this kind of setup will take more amount of time. We did the virtualization of a container in fraction of seconds. So now let's go to the setup of the web server. In this demo, I'm going to show you how to install Apache with PHP and expose the port 80. So before that, I want to check, is there any port listening towards 80? Yep, I have a port listening. Let me stop it first. I've stopped it. Now let me build an Apache server now. So I have the Apache here. So a single Docker file. In this single Docker file, what I'm going to do is I'm downloading the Apache web server and I'm hardening the web server based on my CIS guideline and disable all the unwanted modules, installing the PHP. Now I'm going to create a mount point, create a mount point. Okay, so the mount point already exists. Let's build this, and I'm building this Docker image for my Apache and PHP. So it's trying to pull from the EPL. So its total installation size is 85 MB. Yeah, now Apache is installed. Now I'm doing the hardening part. Yep, the image is built successfully. Now let me kick off the container. So what I'm going to do here is create the mount outside the container and into an underlying into a unique host system. So what I'm doing is that this Docker run expose the port 82 into a container port and expose the port from on a 4 local host from the on the server 443 to Docker 443 hyphen v the volume hyphen d for detach hyphen v for volume that I'm mounting app HTML to var www HTML in the name Apache 2.4 PHP. So yep, so launch the container now. Yes, I got the container listening on 80 and 443 now. Let me access it out. I got the web server now. Okay, so let me add a welcome page towards it. What I'm going to do is that is I'm going to add the local file on the local server. Now it get reflected to the Docker container. Yep. So now it is updated. Now let's check whether PHP is enabled or not. So what I'm going to do is that is okay. So let's check. Yeah. So we are getting the web page now. So in this way we can build a web server with the latest uh, PHP and web server. And also we can see the live changes when we add any new content onto the app. HTML folder will get reflected to var www.html. In similar fashion, now I'm going to launch an application server now. This is a web server. Now let me launch a Tomcat container. So I have built a Tomcat container. So what I'm going to do is cat docker file. So in the docker file, I'm going to download the container and I'm going to download the JDK and I'm going to install the Tomcat. So this video may take some time, so I'll pause for a while because normally the JDK download will take some time. Let me build the container first. So I have to extract the latest Tomcat folders for the web apps. So let me create a new user ID, and I'm creating this all this user ID onto the local system. So I'm adding the folder. I'm copying all the necessary contents inside the container, inside the Tomcat folder to hop web apps. Yes, I copied it now. Let me build the container first. I'm downloading the CentOS. So it's pulling the latest CentOS. I'll pause the video for a while. Welcome guys. So now you can see I've downloaded the JDK and the size is almost 189 MB. So it took some time to download it. So that's the reason I paused this video. Now the JDK has been extracted. Now the Tomcat is been getting downloaded. So Tomcat is downloaded, and let me see what's happening on. Okay, yeah, now I can see the site has built successfully the Tomcat server. Now I'm going to mount my local volume to the containers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mount the web apps into the container and lock folder into the container, and you can see under the name Tomcat 9 I'm opening the port 8080. So Tomcat is started successfully. Let me open another window. So cd opt logs. I can see all my recent files here. And let me close this one. So now Tomcat is stopped. The Tomcat is stopped. I have to start the Tomcat. Start Tomcat 9. Yes. So you can see the Tomcat is getting started successfully and it's up and running. Now let me access the container. Let me access the Tomcat now. I got the application Tomcat getting deployed successfully. So I have server status. Sorry, examples. Let me browse the examples. So I can browse and execute the JSP. Now I'm going to show you a live deployment. And this live deployment, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy an WAR file into my container. I'm going to add it to the my local web apps folder, which is on the server, and you can see the live deployment starting now onto a container, onto the Tomcat. So see the web application sample.war file got deployed successfully. I'm going to access the application straight away. So this is spontaneous and immediate in effect. So Docker is so popular because of these reasons. It is really fast and processing time takes very quick. Now let me add and reverse proxy and I will show you how we can access the web to app, and finally I will set up the DB. So we have already kicked off a web server. Let me stop that web server first. I've stopped the web server. I have to enable the reverse proxy for it. It's the same, but what I did is I'm adding an reverse proxy entry onto the web server. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tell Tomcat, I'm going to tell my web server to communicate to Tomcat. So I'm building the reverse proxy. You can also create a build image and just directly copy this Apache configuration there. But I just want to make a demo. I want to show you how the real installation goes on. So that's the reason I'm just building it from the scratch. You can also directly copy the web server into the build which we did, and it will start working. But here what we are doing is that I'm creating in images for each thing, because in production environment or in QA environments, normally we don't try to add, or we normally build from the scratch. Yes, so the web server package is getting been installed. Yes, so web server is installed. Now I'm adding the files. Okay, so I think PHP installation is going on. No, so it's taking open SSH. Okay, now that you can see web server the package is getting installed. You can customize the packages if you want. Some people say they want to add some certain packages and want to customize the infrastructure on a Docker file. You can amend this Docker file at any moment. So I've installed a MariaDB clients. So this Docker image build is only one time setup. Once you build it, you can kick off the container, or you can spin up the container. Okay, so you can see I've copied all the necessary configuration, and I've changed the ownership now. Let me start the container now. So I'm tagging it as a reverse proxy. Yes, so it's now I can go reverse proxies enable. Now what I'm going to do is I'm directly going to access it, and I'm getting the application. So sample this way is very simple. So I've deployed a reverse proxy into the container, and then I forwarded the traffic from the reverse proxy to my Tomcat. Now, next video, I will show you the deployment of my MySQL database, and I can travel from app to web and web to DB. Thank you, guys.